Rob Hill also in the building at Little Sorrento.
There you go. Good morning. How are y'all?
Doing good. Christy's here too. I think Cristy can hear you.
Good morning, Cristy.
Good morning.
You know Rob Hill. Rob, this is Cristy Morrison.
We're kind of neighbors-ish.
You do live, but you both live south of town. I know that because
I think we live probably within 3 miles of each other.
that's neighbors.
Maybe 4.
Because you see her on the road sometimes, and let her know that.
Yeah. I've
Oh,
seen her
yeah,
a time
he
or two.
does.
Honk
With the
at her,
big loud
wave at her.
siren.
Yeah, honk at her, wave at her.
Have you ever scared anybody and caused an accident?
No, thank goodness.
Wouldn't that
Nobody
be-
wakes me up.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes.
I will say one time, as kids, we used to live right on the highway, and we would sit.
That's dangerous.
It is, and we would sit on our skateboards, and we would ride to the end. We'd put our feet down by the time we got to the sidewalk, and sometimes cars would just all of a sudden see you, and then they would just swerve over into the other lane. And oh man, I'm telling you, I've never got a blistering before like I did.
I see that. I'm nervous about that with pedestrians and
Yeah.
and the biking community also.
Absolutely.
And it's not their fault. You just don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it's
And
the
so-
unknown.
And it's the fear of the unknown there. Boy, you guys, everybody has a hard luck story to tell, but Rob, I guess, was letting us know he was so poor as a kid, they had to live on the highway.
We did. We had to live on the highway.
Down by the river.
Yeah, down by the river. Walked up the hill to go to school.
There you go.
Both ways.
Both ways.
If it wasn't for that river, you wouldn't have had a bath till you were 24. So
There
that's
you
how
go.
poor Rob was. No, I don't believe that.
Well, what was it? We were so poor we could only take a bath once a week. Yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, we were talking to Cristy about all the dynamics that's changing. We were talking about we had Kevin Fowler, and I replayed a little bit of that, and just the dynamics change every single day, and you're involved in that too. But we have to appreciate all of our community leaders with that, right?
Everything is so fluid right now. It's just hard to nail certain things down. But yeah, we're starting to meet on a regular basis where we're talking about. Where we're starting to talk about peak.
I assume that was Rob.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. What'd you have for breakfast
I
today, Rob?
was thinking too hard there. Blew a gasket. But yeah, we're starting to talk about what we're going to do during the peak, what the peak looks like for Stillwater, what it looks like for Payne County, what it looks like for the state. We're also talking about starting the process of having the meetings, talking about what it looks like when we start to reopen and kind of demobilize this event for the community, and what safety measures can we implement that will protect the community but still allow us to open certain things up. So we're very early in those conversations, so we don't have anything hard and fast, but those conversations are definitely beginning right now.
Absolutely. So, hey, Cristy, we didn't dive into any of the things that you're following on. You mentioned Visit Stillwater, which was we were having a conversation, and she was able to look up on her own website and answer the question, which is pretty cool.
Well, I should have known it. But it is nice to have. It is so nice to have all this information on our website, and we now have it in a printable form as well that people can just go and basically it's a spreadsheet and you can print that out. And I know a lot of my friends have printed out the restaurant page because they are just kind of going through and they're highlighting different restaurants, and they're going to see how many they can get through before they can start going back to the restaurants. And I think that's kind of a fun little game for the family to play together as well.
Well, and you're also, I mean, the main thing is you're trying to make sure the community sustains and those businesses are taken care of because it's tough.
Well, a lot of my friends are realizing they're not the cooks they thought they were.
Well, that's true.
Or they're just tired of doing it. So it's kind of fun to be able to try some restaurants that they hadn't even heard of yet. So this is really, I hope, helping our local community also learn more about their community. And we've always said in the tourism industry that our best advocate and our best marketing are our citizens that are talking about our different museums and attractions and restaurants and events. So if we can get them talking and their voices, particularly with social media now, that really helps us do our job. And so that's why we've done the virtual tours and we're doing the virtual calendar of events and trying to get the community just to become even more familiar and maybe motivate them to go into the museum that they drive by every day but haven't been in. And we're all guilty of that. I lived in London for 3 years, and I had to go back as a tourist to go do some of the things I should have done when I lived there.
That is just something you fall into. The only time I ever go to some of these places is when I have family in town.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now you're a host. Okay, we got to brag about our community here, and then you go, why haven't I gone here before?
I know, we all do that.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And in the
doesn't
state,
matter what
yeah.
city you live in, you're guilty of that.
Yeah. So, and I did take one of your virtual tours. Well, a few of them the other day. After probably. Maybe whatever these days run together, probably last Thursday, something like that, when we talked about it. And it's really easy. You just follow the arrows and stuff like that. But I imagine that was fun to put together, too.
It was so cool. Yeah, in fact, we have a list going already of other places. We were limited to a certain number that we could do the first time around, and so we have another list going of other places that we want to hit next time because it makes it so much easier also for us to sell Stillwater. Say there's people in surrounding states that are looking at regional events, and instead of them having the expense of coming to Stillwater, we can talk them through some tours online. That will motivate them to come see it for themselves and then make the decision to make Stillwater their home for their event. So it's going to help us on many, many different levels, I think.
Okay, does your software, or when they do that, does it blur faces?
A little bit, yes.
Because I wondered if somebody had to go in there. It's kind of like the license plate, when you take a picture, it'll be, and it was the same thing. So I was wondering, I wonder who's in there, and it's like, they're blurry. You can't see them.
Yeah.
But I recognize Rob Hill's shirt, so that's Rob.
I've recognized a few people, but they kind of do that. I mean, they do talk to people in the restaurants and retail shops and stuff and let them know what we're doing, and some people don't care and some people do. So we're very respectful of that.
That's pretty cool, though. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're not supposed to be there together.
Right. That's probably a good point, yes.
I thought that when I didn't think it along those lines, but when the Internet first became the Internet, right? And Eskimo Joe's had the camera at their bar.
Believe me, yes.
And I thought, I hope parents don't know about this.
I will never forget the time I was there with my whole family, everybody, my mom, dad, brother, sister, sister-in-law, niece, nephew, everybody. And it was quite a while ago, and my dad looked up and said, "What's that?" I'm like, "Nothing." And he goes, "No, really, what is that?" I said, "Oh, it's a Joe's cam. Or a webcam. You can watch what's going on here." And he goes, "So you're telling me when you were in college, I would have known you were majoring in Eskimo Joe's instead of marketing."
It wasn't on there, though, when you were in college.
No, I said, "Dad, it wasn't even invented then. We didn't have the Internet." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, okay."
But I always wondered what kind of feedback Stan got from that. It obviously was good because he left it a long time. But you can have Dad saying, "Okay, who's that hitting on Hilda May now?"
I know. That's true.
So.
But don't do anything you don't want the world to know about.
That's a good point. That's what I think with the street cameras and stuff.
There are cameras everywhere.
Well, then just don't do that.
And I'm glad there are. I mean, cameras have solved a lot of crime.
Yeah. So
I'm looking at a report. I pulled it up earlier this morning, and it's from the U.S. Travel Association, and it's the weekly coronavirus impact on travel expenditures in the United States. You want to hear a couple stats?
Well, I imagine it's several 100% down, right?
It's dismal.
Well, when you're ordered to stay home.
Yeah, in Oklahoma, I'll just use our state. In Oklahoma, on February 15th, there was $166 million in travel spending, and on April 4th, there was $46 million.
Yeah, so it was about a quarter.
Yeah, the one thing that's real frustrating for us in travel and tourism is there's some groups out there that are printing information that is so completely untrue and fabricated, and I'm like, you can't say stuff like that because that's why it's good to have information from trusted sources.
Yeah, you need to know where to go.
You need to know the truth.
And in this world, lots of people tell you where to go, but you need to know.
Believe me, I understand. And I was just thinking the other day, I have several conference calls a day with my team, and we're like, man, why couldn't this just happen in January and February? Because it happened during our two biggest months of the year, aside from obviously football season, but the most events we have all year long are in March and April.
Yeah. And
into May, actually. So, oh gosh, this year for sure May. So.
But can you imagine if it would have been in November and December, with all the holiday spending and people's families?
That would have been horrible. Well, see, for tourism, your slower months really are December, January, into February. But we took December out because we're like, that's when we need people out and about and spending money. But I was like, there's no perfect timing. But we just got notice that the university is closed for all events through the end of June, and we had Terry Collier's big motorcycle rally was going to be there in June. So
okay. Yeah.
We're pivoting on that one, and we're already planning for 2021 and looking at maybe doing some events leading up to it. And I mean, she is working so hard on that event. So we're deciding that there was a reason, something bigger and better will happen. We're staying very positive.
That's all we can do right now, huh?
Yeah.
And follow what people tell us. Follow the science and the doctors. So.
Do you wear your mask in the car?
No, I do not.
I was watching this morning too how many people had masks on in the car, and a lot do. And I'm thinking, do I need to do that too? I haven't been wearing mine in the car. I've just been wearing it when I get out of the car.
I was at a red light yesterday, and the lady. It's interesting you say that because the lady to my right had her mask on, but she was in an SUV, and there's every possibility there was a little kid in the back seat or something like that.
True.
So I don't know that she was by herself.
Well, there's a couple things that are going on that we're seeing is some people, when they get up in the morning, they're just making it routine to put it on to wear it instead of donning it and doffing it, multiple times throughout the day, because that cuts down on exposure to the outside of the mask, and it just gets them in the habit of wearing the mask and having it on. And then there's another train of thought that says, well, I'm by myself, I'm in my vehicle, the windows are up, the air's recirculated, I'm okay. So it just depends on the individual, and who knows, they may be just making a short jaunt somewhere, and physical distancing is going to be hard when they get to wherever they're going or something. So when we see that, you'll see people that wear their masks all the time.
Right.
So I mean, I'm sure there's several different reasons why people are doing it, but the ones that we've asked, they say, well, I just might as well put it on and get used to wearing it because we're going to have to for probably quite a while. And then others are like, well, I only wear it when I can't observe the physical distancing. So.
Right. Which is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I thought that our copy machine was going to take off. It was making so much noise, so I called, and there was a gentleman actually in town who could come by and take a look at it, and he showed up in a mask and gloves and everything. I had on my mask, and we stayed far away from each other, and he totally cleaned down the whole machine everywhere he touched, and I thought, maybe it's not such a bad thing that we do that anyway sometimes.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, hey, anything else that we need to get out there for people? Because, again, visit Stillwater.org, a site to go where you can take the virtual tours, but also the restaurant information is there, and I think everybody wants to take care of those folks, and it's also nice to have a good meal, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree. In fact, I'll mention again, with friends of mine, I guess they talk to each other, and they printed it out, and they've just started highlighting the ones that they've ordered from for lunch or dinner, and they're just trying to get through the whole list, which I think is a great idea. You can do that with dining. You can do that with retail. We also have the virtual tours you mentioned, and we've also added a tab for virtual events. In fact, I just saw this morning when I probably shouldn't do this, but the first thing I do is try to cruise through Facebook to see if there's any events that I don't know about, and saw that Morgan is having another virtual concert on Thursday, so we want to get that on our calendar. And she said it's a full band virtual concert, so that's going to be pretty cool.
I'm glad you brought that up because Wayne was in earlier, and that's what he was excited about. They're learning how to do that. So
and since today is Thursday, it's tonight.
Yeah.
I am so getting lost on days, but so if we don't have it on there, it's just that we haven't been able to learn about your event. So please let us know because we want to get it included as well. It's not intentional. We hadn't found a way to learn about your event. So please let us know.
Absolutely. So go to visitstillwater.org, and you'll let us know if we need to pass anything along. And if not, I guess I'll just talk to you via telephone on Monday, right?
Sounds good.
So, Cristy, thanks. Be safe.
Hey, thank you. And hey, Rob, thank you for you and your whole team for what you're doing as well. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I have to be honest about it. It's a whole team effort these days. So, but thank you very much.
Yeah.
You betcha.
She was more gracious than me. I'll do better. I thank you, too.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Cristy.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
There you go. Cristy Morrison with visitstillwater.org.